Hi, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. I'm telling us that Uncle Sam not playing, The long arms of the U.S. law will reach you anywhere you run to. You have to go hide under the ground in order to escape these people. This is not a joke thing. So the best thing you can do is stay away from any crime or any violent crime or anything that has to do with the United States of America. Other countries, they might say, forget about him because we can't find him. Not the U.S. The U.S. are come lift up your granny mattress and look under it. You know, your granny lift up the mattress and put your birth certificate and these kind of things under there. Right. Them are come right there, so come look for you. Anyways, two women in Jamaica news headline, two women were extradited back to the United States of America to face serious charges. This is one video of one of the women, and we will do another video in details of the other woman as well. Let's start out with the woman from Connecticut. The headline says, woman extradited from Jamaica to Bridgeport, Connecticut in slaying that took place in 2022. So obviously, someone got killed in 2022, and she was thought to be the main suspect, and she ditched, she run, she duck, she took off, she fled, leave the scene. And this is how the story goes. A local woman who police said fled to Jamaica after fatally shooting her former boyfriend last year was ordered held in lieu of $3 million bail on Friday. $3 million bail basically mean that if you don't have millions and millions of dollars to post this bail, you're not coming out. Usually, they set your bail ridiculously high when there is a high chance of conviction. B, they definitely feel that you're a flight risk. C, they don't want you to go anywhere. They want you to stay right here until you are tried and convicted, and all their plan is to convict you. So, here it goes. There's a significant risk of flight. This is what the Superior Court Judge Maria del Pilar Gonzalez said while she was imposing the bond on 39-year-old Ayana Reynolds as the defendant stood before her in handcuffs and leg shackles, freshly extradited from Jamaica. The judge said there is a significant risk of flight. You think? We had to trail her all the way to Jamaica to find her with a fugitive apprehension team. Senior Assistant State Attorney Nicholas Bove had urged the judge to set a very high bail but here comes Reynolds' lawyer. And guess what? Of course she doesn't have a private attorney. Of course she doesn't have any money stacked up where she can get a good lawyer who is going to work her case. She has an assistant public defendant. Everybody knows how it goes when you get a public defendant, man. Right? So Brooklyn Campagna is the name of her public defendant. And this public defendant, who is acting as her attorney, asked the judge, please have some leniency on my client. My client is the mother of 4 children, Judge, and she has no prior criminal convictions. Listen, if this was my attorney, I would probably punch my attorney in the jaw. What do you mean, have some leniency on me? Is that the best you can say on my behalf? They just had to extradite me from Jamaica. What do you mean? On behalf of my 4 children. The judge doesn't want to hear about your 4 children right now. So she's the mother of 4 children, and it is said that the boyfriend that she shot to death was the father of none of those children. I don't know how true that part is, but it's crazy if that is what it is. Now my mind is thinking, why did she kill her boyfriend? Were her children with her? Or were her children in Jamaica? If her children were with her, we've been doing a lot of these molestation cases lately that, my mind just went there. If her children were with her and she gunned down her boyfriend, could it be a case of her boyfriend had been doing anything to one of her children? Well, we'll get into that later. So her attorney argued that, listen, she has no prior convictions. She's never been in the system before. She's not known as a troublemaker. Something triggered her, judge. So please be lenient. The judge says, nah, I'm not being lenient, nothing. Bail set at $3 million. Ooh. And then the judge said, this case will continue on October 3rd of 2023. She was standing before the judge on September 8th of 2023. The judge handed down this $3 million bail and said, see you on October 3rd of 2023. According to the arrest warrant, because everybody want to know what happened. How did she end up here? According to the arrest warrant affidavit, at about 10 p.m. on January 2nd of 2022, police officers were dispatched to an emergency call to a multifamily house on Marcel Street. When officers got there, they found the victim, Andre Brown, who was 36 years old. He was laying in the front yard, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He died a short time later at the hospital. Now, it is also said that it was cold as freezing out there. So the victim was laying out there in the cold, freezing, with multiple gunshot wounds. It didn't look good. There was blood everywhere. It was a terrible scene, right? The affidavit states that a resident of the Marcel Street house told police that Brown had just came over there to live with him that morning after the Jamaican female who ran away to Jamaica, Reynolds, had thrown Brown out of their North Avenue apartment. So the guy that got killed, he was living with the Jamaican female. They were living together, sharing apartment. She threw his stuff out. So he said, all right, you throwing me out? I'm out. I'm going to pick up my stuff and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go stay with this friend. She trailed him to where he was at with the friend, right? This is what the affidavit said. The affidavit states that a resident that lives there, whose name is on that lease, said that Brown had just come over there because he was going to come live with him because she had just thrown him out of their apartment that they shared. Now, at about 10 p.m., the witness stated that the Reynolds, the Jamaican girl, she knocked on the door, boom, 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 boom. Reynolds demanding to see Brown. Brown, come outside. This is what he described, right? And although it was cold outside, Brown wasn't dressed properly for the weather. She still demanded that he come outside right now. Well, after about a minute, this is what the eyewitness said. He says after about 1 minute, the affidavit states that the witness heard gunshots and he came out of the house. He ran out there after he heard the gunshots because they were arguing, and he ran out and he saw Reynolds, the female, speeding away in her silver Mercedes-Benz sports utility vehicle. So she was driving a Mercedes-Benz SUV and she was speeding away from the scene after the gunshots went off. The witness said he then heard Brown say, "They shot me, man. They shot me. I'm gonna die." And then he passed out. Obviously, she was the one that did the shooting. She had nobody else with her. She was a lone accomplice, and she took his life that day. This is what is alleged. The affidavit continues that another witness who saw told the police that after he heard the gunshots, he looked out the window. He was like, yo, they shooting up the neighborhood. That's a lot of shots. Who's that? So he peeks out the window and he also saw Reynolds driving off in the same silver Mercedes sports utility vehicle. So there are multiple eyewitnesses who have given their statements describing the vehicle and the person that drove away from the scene in the vehicle. This was supported by also nearby surveillance video. So not only was she caught, you see what I tell y'all about America? This is the wrong place to do crime. Everybody that I know that did a crime here got caught. Whether they got caught a year after, 2 years after, 5 years after, they got caught, right? Not only did they have 2 eyewitnesses that saw everything, but also video surveillance that was nearby picked up all that was happening. The affidavit states that the police contacted Reynolds because they knew it was her. And they told her, hey, where you at? We need to see you. She said, well, I know you need to see me, but I'm not around right now. I know you need to see me, but I'm not around right now. When detectives told her that Brown had been shot, hey, you know anything about Brown? We found him shot multiple times, laying there in the cold. She said, yes, me hear about it. And she hung up the phone. This is what the affidavit state. Yes, we hear about it, and she hung up the phone. The affidavit states that the police later found Reynolds' Mercedes-Benz SUV, the same silver Mercedes-Benz that was seen in the surveillance video at the scene, the same silver Mercedes-Benz that was described by 2 eyewitnesses. They found that Mercedes-Benz abandoned in the Bronx. Now, mind you, the situation happened in Connecticut. So from Connecticut to the Bronx, it could be quite of a distance. It's not like it's 1 block over, right? Working in collaboration now, the U.S. Marshals Connecticut Violent Fugitive Task Force and the Bridgeport Police Department started to work together, and they tracked Reynolds all the way to the island of Jamaica. Matthew Duffy, a spokesperson for the task force, told the news release team on Friday. Marshals apprehended Reynolds in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Marshals apprehended Reynolds in Montego Bay, Jamaica, a city on the country's north coast, on July 21st, according to Duffy. He said that the Jamaica Fugitive Apprehension Team assisted with the effort. So, what does that tell you? That tells you that there's a Jamaica Fugitive Apprehension Team. It tells you also that the Marshals Fugitive Task Force, Violent Fugitive Task Force, works without boundaries and borders. That is what it tells me. And they were able to coordinate. And it didn't say she was apprehended by Jamaican police, JCF. It didn't say she was apprehended by Jamaican soldiers, JDF. It says she was apprehended in Montego Bay, Jamaica by U.S. Marshals. Right. He said that the Jamaican Fugitive Apprehension Team assisted with the effort. Now, when Reynolds appeared before the Corporate Area Parish Court on July 28, Duffy said that she waived her rights to an extradition hearing and she was ordered extradited back to the U.S. So when she was held, she waived her rights. You can fight your rights. You can fight it and you can say, no, I don't want to be extradited to the U.S. And you can get an attorney and you can fight it, and they'll have to lay out all the grounds on which they want to take you back to the U.S. And your attorney can lay out all the grounds on which you should not be allowed to go back to the U.S. She already knew what the case was. It would have stood too strong, okay? 2 eyewitnesses, video surveillance footage, all that other stuff. Nah, and a dead body of her former boyfriend. Right. So she was going to be extradited anyways. Duffy said that Reynolds waived her rights and said, man, you know what? Frig it, send me. Long run, short catch. Duffy also said that Reynolds was charged with murder and she was also charged with carrying a pistol without a permit. Well, Peter Zansowski put this together for us in CT Post. Thanks for the information. It was thorough and it gives us a thorough understanding of what took place. Listen, this is no joke thing. Here we have another domestic violence issue that went way out of hand. I don't know what it is with Jamaican people. And I don't want to say this in general and be generalizing, because we know that there are good, loving, functioning Jamaican people with good, loving, functioning relationships that never get violent. But it seems like there are so many that feel like violence is the answer. It's like if me and you have a disagreement, or my partner and I have a disagreement, or my partner decides to leave, I can't let you leave. If I can't have you, nobody else will. I'm going to have to kill you first. Or I invested so much in you, you hurt my feelings, and now my bank account's empty. I'm going to have to kill you first. I don't like what you said and how you said it to me. I'm going to have to kill you. It's always killing. She threw the guy out. She threw all his clothes out in the public. Apparently, when she threw him out, he left his clothes right where she threw it all out at, from their apartment. And he just left and he went to a friend's house. But how did she know that he was at this friend's house? Maybe this is something that they do all the time. And this is where he always goes when he gets thrown out. This is the friend who was the first eyewitness, because it was his door that she was banging on in the cold, telling the guy who she just threw out to come outside now. Come outside now. And although he was not properly dressed, he didn't have his clothes and stuff with him, he went outside anyways. You know, when somebody's trying to give you a place to stay and you want to keep it kosher, you want to be like, yeah, I don't want to bring any drama to this person's house, but this mad gal is outside the door banging down the people's door. Soon they're going to ask me to leave. Then I probably won't have nowhere to go stay. This person is kind enough to open their door to me, right? And say, man, come on over here. Come stay with me, man. Just keep it down, right? And now I got their neighbors looking at them all crazy when they never seen drama coming from that house before. It's embarrassing. So he went outside probably just to calm her down and take away the embarrassment and all the eyes from, because you know we live in that kind of age, 2022, 2023, 2024, going forward. Everybody got their cell phone out. Everybody is going to film you and put it on social media. So nobody wants to see this happen. Right? So he goes outside to calm her down. Could you stop banging on these people's door, man? You making a whole lot of noise for nothing. You just threw me out. You threw me out and I left. What more do you want? That conversation ended with him being shot multiple times and her speeding away in that silver Mercedes, and was never to be seen again until a year later, when they found her hiding out in Montego Bay in Jamaica. Mother of 4, they say. I wonder where her children are. I know she's about to do a whole lot of time in prison. I know those children are about to grow up without their mothers. And I know that split-minute decision is about to cost not only her, but those children as well. Mother of 4. I wish she had thought about this before she actually picked that gun up and trailed that man down. You threw him out. Why are you trailing him? You throw out stuff that you don't want. When I throw my garbage out, I don't go back outside and go looking through the garbage can to see if I could pick back out some of the garbage. Everything that I threw out stays out, and then I give it to the garbage truck. I don't go looking back for it. She threw him out, then went back looking for him. It was that serious. Lesson of the day: control your anger before you have to pay a dear price, right? And that's that. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I will catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace. Alright, my SouFLoTV audience, anybody who knows me knows that I come from the rural parts of Jamaica where it's dark in those hills. And from I was a child until now, government still has not installed any street lights in some of the darkest corners of Jamaica. But guess what? It's 2023 and beyond. We're going into 2024 soon. We are doing it for ourselves. Just link up with Soninka Limited, because these solar powered street lights are powerful. They are commercial grade, remote controlled, they are waterproof, and did I mention that they are solar powered? So you don't have to wait on JPS, you don't have a bill to pay. These are powered by God's Son. Yes, and you stay on the ground and you remote control it to the brightness of your liking and all these things. Light up your lanes and streets and farms and corners and areas and be safe. All the information needed is on the screen, and Soninka deals with your installation and everything. Call them right now and get yourself out of the darkness and into the light, and tell them that SouFLoTV sent you. All right?